The chapter I will be presenting is Chapter 7, Wasting Away Linear Civilizations and Trash. This chapter is an important topic to research because it shows how our current modes of consumption and recycling methods are contributing to the pollution of our landfills and are ultimately unsustainable. This chapter highlights how pre-industrial methods of recycling and reusing materials help prevent waste and the creation of landfills. What interested me about this chapter specifically was the fact that society was more sustainable in the pre industrial era compared to modern society. And in today's world, we put more emphasis on caring about climate change as compared to previous centuries. Before the 20th century, societies recycled many of the materials we fail to recycle today. For example, iron, wool, paper, and leather. A societal norm for societies before the 20th century was to waste as little as possible and reuse materials to serve other purposes. In regard to food waste, individuals would often collect food scraps and create soup broths. When food was in improper condition for human consumption, they would give these scraps to their livestock for feed, and in return, these animals would provide eggs, milk, and meat. Pre-industrial societies never wasted the bones of the animals they ate. Instead, they extracted the grease and gelatin to create other products. You could create soap with gelatin and use grease to cook food in. After they were left with just the bones, they would craft handles for tools or grind them into powder to fertilize crops. When constructing household items, these tools were often made to be durable, as they would be passed down through generations. When these items would break, individuals would often return them to the seller and request that they be repaired. When items could not be repaired, they would be stripped for parts and used to mend other items. In regard to clothing, cloth items like clothing, quilts, and rugs were often fixed or repurposed into different items. For example, making blankets out of old scrap cloth. The reason society preserved many of these cloth items was because of the high cost to purchase new ones. This was a reflection of the long process that cloth makers had to go through to create cloth items. This process included growing cotton plants and hand-picking the cotton, or wool could be used by shearing a sheep. After it was collected, they had to wash it, and then it was spun, woven, and sewn to create clothing. Cotton and wool could also be mixed with shredded fibers from old items and remade into new cloth product. This recycled cloth is called shoddy. Unlike pre-industrial societies, we fail at recycling and reusing the materials and items we have today. We don't save our food scraps and we don't reuse our old items. In today's age, when we bring home products from stores and they break or become worn out, we do not repair them and we replace them with new items. As a result, we throw everything in the garbage, which ends up in landfills. Pre-industrial societies were sustainable, closed systems, which meant that items were being reused and repurposed, like how ecosystems self-replenish by using waste from one area to replenish another. For example, in ecosystems, an animal's waste may fertilize plants, and in pre-industrial societies, an older family member's torn clothing can be mended to create another piece for a younger family member. Industrialization transformed our recycling and reusing societal norms into an open system. Products are now created from materials from the earth, which are sold to consumers who eventually throw the item away, which is brought to landfills that don't feed or benefit the ecosystem. So why do we throw so much away? One reason is fashion, fast fashion. Fashion trends come and go. Laziness. Sometimes individuals can be lazy and they don't want to fix the products that they already own. Boredom can be another reason. You may become bored of the product and throw it away. There's also societal norms of purging and organizing items in our home, which refers to decluttering and throwing things away, and in the organization process, we're contributing to adding items to landfills. Since the post-industrial shift in how we recycle and reuse materials, garbage has been rapidly accumulating in landfills. Each year, Canadian citizens produce more than half a ton of garbage per person. So, what can we do to solve this issue? From my presentation, it is clear that the modern world needs to rethink its approach to consumption and recycling. We should aim to use the materials to their fullest extent and focus on repairing items when necessary, just like pre-industrial societies did. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation.